Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minions with me tonight are useless.
Hello, how goes it?
Functional.
Fuck you, pay me.
And, of course, I'm the keeper for the evening, Sanguine. Well, not really, of course, since this is now a wild card, but I'm the keeper for the night, Sanguine. How are both of you doing tonight?
Laughing, kicking.
Always better than the alternative.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Functional?
A little bit tired. Didn't do dick all today, but had the weirdest, I was just, constantly stuffed up all day, nasally. Still, I am a little bit. Man, being allergic to cats and owning a cat is sometimes just terrible.
I was going to ask if it was one of your allergy seasons, but with allergic to cats and owning cats, that definitely explains it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've kind of slacked on the cleaning a little bit the last couple months. So, more dander than usual floating about.
Usually has been due,
Yeah, well, when it's this hot, who wants to fucking walk around their apartment and clean? Especially in my kind of condition. Is what it is. Once summer starts fading away, then I'll do a nice deep clean like I do every year. Hey, Adamantine, Assassin.
But yes, we were talking about various food preparations right before stream. Yeah, the three of us talking about food. Who would have ever guessed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do you guys want to continue with that topic, or shall we go to a different one?
I have a little bit to talk about.
Shall we go for that then? And we'll touch on food when we touch on food, because it's the three of us, and we will absolutely touch on food at some point.
I don't have anything better to talk about, so...
Oh, you don't have anything better?
Yeah.
I thought you said, I have something.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like, okay, dish, come on, what's the juicy deets?
Well, I stayed on Twitter all day today, so,
One thing I wanted to start doing is doing, you know how the big trend in restaurants now is to use potato buns for burgers and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because they're so fluffy, they're so good, but
and
you know what?
Retarded simple to make.
Yeah.
Are they? Because I've never worked with potato flour. I normally use rice flour, which gives things more chewy, gummy consistency.
Most potato breads don't even use potato flour.
Yeah.
They use standard flour and mashed potatoes.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Mashed potatoes?
Yeah.
Yep. You use mashed potatoes, and that replaces a certain amount of your flour. Normally, it's about 2/3 or half to 2/3, depending on the exact recipe.
You can do this with sweet potatoes as well.
Yep, and that's what most potato breads are. They don't use potato flour; they just use standard flour and mashed potatoes mixed in, because it's the oldest versions of potato breads are just a way of making it so that your flour was able to stretch a bit further.
Right.
So you'd fill it out with mashed potatoes, which are cheap as
balls, yeah. Potatoes have
Delahazed.
always been cheap because they grow easily enough. You can grow them in vast quantities.
Yeah, the only time potatoes aren't cheap is during a famine.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But
even up until recent times, recent generations, flour wasn't that cheap.
No.
Yep.
People forget flour used to be a very considered almost a luxury commodity.
Well, white bread.
Especially our highly milled white flours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
then we learned
spring bread used to be for the poor, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But
then we learned that those enriched white breads don't actually have the same nutritional value. It's actually stripping some of the nutritional value out of the wheat.
Yeah, it was never, though, as a nutrition.
No,
aspect.
it was a shelf life thing.
Yeah, it looked
The
nice.
shelf life and also the appearance, which the biggest part of the appearance was everyone knew that it was much harder to refine it to the point of white than it was to stop at a more sandy hue, let's say.
Yeah, so people would see the pristine white bread and go, okay, this person's got money.
Yep.
They're
It meant
flexing.
that they splashed out some cash in getting that meal prepped. It's the same reason why spices were used in the way that they were during the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
Because if you look at most medieval recipes nowadays, the amount of seasoning that they use and the different sorts of seasoning that they use in the same fucking dish, you're looking at it going, okay, who was drunk and high when they made this fucking recipe? Really? In this one pork dish, you're going to put a pound of pepper?
Yeah,
What
no.
the fuck?
No. And I was just about to bring up the great, mostly British food revolution. Adamantine brings up Marco Pierre White. I love the man. I think he's a genius. I think he was part of that, the one of the moving forces that brought the movement of the food revolution to the masses, to the media, to and popularizing it. And then you have your Ramses, Olivers, who are sort of like the pretty boy faces for basically what started with Marco and who was his?
I can't remember who the other one was, but I would say that Gordon Ramsay is a better example because Jamie Oliver, the man means well. That's really the best I can say about what he does. He means well.
I remember it now. It's Albert and Michelle Roux.
Ah, yeah.
Those were his mentors, and yeah, they were heads down in the kitchen, changing food on the ground floor, and thank them for it because that spread like wildfire to the rest of the West. Because people were like, yeah, clean, simple, but tasty. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, look at the multi-billion empire that Food Network and all these other people have now. What were you going to say, Jace?
I was going to say, I thought I should ask about a wine, not a person. So.
Well, Rue. What? His mentor was a mother sauce?
Yep. Well, the thickener for a mother sauce. The thickener,
yeah. I always enjoyed that. There's something lethargic about being in the kitchen and making the roux for the in the morning for the evening. Just the nutty smell that would eventually come off of it. The constant attention you have to give to it so it doesn't burn. You want that nice, even, toasty color.
Yeah. It's a very thin line too.
Yeah, and then of course you don't taste the payoff until like you're done with service, and then after you stick your finger in the gravy and you're like, oh man, that turned out so good.
Yeah, it just takes so fucking long to get a beautifully brown roux.
Yeah.
Blonde roux are simple as shit. Slap those together in a couple moments. Fucking brown roux.
But when you want a nice brown, like Drunkle says, a brown sauce. Yeah, that takes a lot of attention. A lot of attention. Yep. And funny enough, again, while I was in the kitchen, I'd be cutting mise en place while watching that, giving that a little stir, pick up my knife again, keep cutting vegetables, pick up the spoon, give it another stir, keep never looking at the vegetables while I'm cutting, always eyes on the roux. And again, the boss coming in, the head chef coming in and going, how the hell are you? Again, starting as a simple prep cook, basically people, the bottom rung of kitchens is, prep cook, the colloquial sitting above a pot of potatoes, just peeling potatoes. It's kind of the same deal, cutting vegetables. So if people have a passion for cooking and you can get into a kitchen, just show what you can do, and they will take notice. Hopefully, if you have a good boss, they'll take notice.
I was about to say, it's all dependent on the quality of the boss there.
Well, sometimes you might have to start as a dishwasher,
Yeah, sometimes starting off as a dishwasher.
So.
Yeah, being a prep cook and being a pot scrubber are the two ways that most people end up getting into the industry, I'm pretty sure.
I tell you, almost every restaurant I've worked in this city, it's always been somebody on a temporary foreign work visa.
Mhm.
We're part of the temporary foreign work program. Excuse me, got a little frog in my chest. Ugh, there it goes. Not necessarily. We had people from Pakistan, from Uganda. I want to say Uganda or Chad. People from Ireland, like from all over the world, because it's an easy thing for a teenager or a young 20-something who's traveling the world. You're going to be in this city for 2 weeks. You can walk in, get a job scrubbing pots for 2 weeks. You got extra cash in your pocket while you're also doing the touristy thing.
Yep.
Because the highest turnover rate in any kitchen I've been in is people in the dish pit.
Yeah, it's not easy work. So
I had one restaurant where this guy was there for like 8.5 years. I'm like, dude, what the hell? It's like, meh. It lets me put on my headphones, not think about anything, and just do my thing.
Yeah.
Get paid.
Some people aren't that ambitious.
Completely without ambition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, ambition, but they're content with a job just for job's sake to make money, to survive on. And there's nothing, some people, when they come into the kitchen fresh, green around the gills, they'll look down on them and they'll be like, no. They're the fucking admirals of this ship.
Yeah.
If they don't do what they're supposed to do, you don't get dishes that you can start plating on the line. I won't have utensils when I'm making the prep for your line. It's a whole domino effect.
But every job is important. It serves a role and a function. So,
but you get these hotshots who think, "Oh, I watched Food Network for 4 years while I was going through culinary school." They think they're hot shit, and they're like, looking down on the dishwasher guys. And it's like, no way. When it's lunchtime for them, I have them food ready to go, like hot piping, perfectly cooked, restaurant quality dish. It all depends on how busy we are, whether or not I ask them, what do you want? Sort of like, what do you want? Do you want chicken or fish or beef today? Sometimes I'll just come over. Here's some pasta primavera. Yeah. Here's some chorizo and pepper sausage.
But yeah, it is one of those things that a lot of people that get into the industry, like I said, they start as a pot scrubber, as a prep, and they work their way up from there. Because how many times have you guys been in a kitchen? Because I know both of you worked in the food prep industry.
Yeah.
And God damn it, Joe didn't show up today. We need someone to cover his station.
Jake, you're in the pit tonight. Oh, fuck.
When I was a dishwasher, I worked with a bunch of dead guys. So,
Mm-hmm. And I was usually the first person to volunteer. Oh, so-and-so's got to go on their lunch break. Okay, I'll be in the pit for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Make sure to not fuck up any of the mise en place.
Yep.
We should know how to do every job in the kitchens.
Yep. Pretty much did. At one point, one of the biggest restaurants I worked for, the head chef walked off.
Oh.
He fucked off with both sous chefs one day, and for the next 2.5 weeks, I was fulfilling the orders and doing inventory, and just because, I want to still have the restaurant open, I still want to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how people tend to move up, because, like I said, it's the Joe called in sick today. Fuck, we need someone on this station. Smuckatelli, get over here. Think you can do this without fucking it up? And if you don't fuck it up, then suddenly they're going, hey, if we need to fill this position permanently, Smuckatelli did good.
Yeah.
And you get bumped up as you fill a weak spot or fill a situation where someone called in sick, slap your ass in there, get in gear, and go.
Well, that's my goal with every job I have is to move up.
Yep.
And I never settle for the small rung, you know.
And yeah, this just made me think of something that kind of annoys me with a lot of different businesses, pretty much every business. But there's some that lend themselves to this more than others.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever noticed how most jobs don't really incentivize doing things quickly,
No.
being efficient at your task? Not doing it slap-shot and quick, but
Well,
just being efficient.
If you're doing it quick, you're going to mess up. You know?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that there's a difference between doing things quickly for the sake of being quick.
Yeah.
And doing things efficiently.
Yeah.
And jobs don't really incentivize efficiency.
Yeah.
Which is confusing because you could do a small incentive for efficiency for anything that has a tangible output.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I work at a lab. Part of my job is I do write-up. And we're supposed to finish X number of batches in Y amount of time. If someone's able to finish X.5 in Y, there's really no reward for it.
Yeah.
Well, when I was working at O'Reilly's, I was talking to warehouse workers who packed the truck, and they did it quick. They did it in 4 hours, but I paid for the whole 8. So that's incentive for them to do it.
Yeah, but there
quick.
is a little bit of incentivization there because if they do an 8-hour job in 4 hours, they get 4 hours that they're still getting paid for to do nothing, to not.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that depends, because some jobs are very strict about you always have to be doing something.
Yeah, they are.
So if you finish a job too quickly, you actually get punished for doing the job too quickly. Because now you have to dick around. You don't get to enjoy the time. It'd be one thing if it was, again, just to take my example, you're on write-up tonight for 5 hours at the end of the night. If you finish 5 hours worth of write-up in 3.5, go home. You get paid for the entire shift. That would be an incentive.
I got a joke for you.
Oh?
I just noticed. Let me click that in.
Why is reverse cowgirl illegal in Alabama, in Bama? Because you don't turn your back on family.
Nice. But yeah, it just confuses me. And you could do a bunch of different things where it would be if you finish the shit that you're assigned, then clock out, you get a full shift, though you didn't have to work the full shift because you finished it faster.
Yeah.
Or do something that ends up saving the company money in the long run, but also incentivizes someone to be efficient with their workload and have it be, for example, at my work, it's about 1 hour for 4 batches is what they want us to do.
Yeah.
So 4 batches in an hour. If someone is able to do 4 more batches than they're supposed to have done that shift, that would be about 1/10 of a night, because we're 10-hour shifts. Equivalent extra work.
Yeah.
Give them a 5% boost on the night.
Yeah, you would hope that
still makes more than they would otherwise, because if they had to pay for someone in order to get that additional bit of work done, they would make less in the long run, because they would be paying a person full wage rather than just a percent of the wage.
Yeah.
But it would also give the employees a reason to actually not drag their ass.
Yeah. Well, since I've been volunteering at the animal shelter, I do a job that meant for 2 people. This was like 4 hours. I did it done 2, so you know.
Yeah, and I don't get why companies don't incentivize that. And what's worse is companies almost incentivize the exact opposite.
Yeah, they discourage it.
I think it's kind of hourly pay kind of does that too.
Well, it's not just a function of hourly pay because, like I said, you could do a very easy incentive where if you do X amount of work that wouldn't have been done otherwise, then we'll increase your pay for that day by that amount of work divided by 2.
Yeah.
You still get a bonus, and they get a bonus because they got more work done for less. But what is the confusing part is businesses actually incentivize the exact opposite because overtime. If you could go into overtime by not doing additional work and get paid time and a half, then fuck it. That's a better deal, getting paid time and a half. So they're actually incentivizing kind of dragging your ass, which doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I don't get why there isn't a incentive to kind of bang out your work, do it correctly, but do it efficiently.
Yeah.
And it would be fairly easy to track that because all you do is add on another thing to the, for every X amount that you do over, make it so that it still has to meet standards. So someone could try to bang a lot of shit out, but be fucking it up, and they don't get a goddamn thing for their effort. Yeah. They don't get any bonus because, yeah, you did 1.5 times the amount of work that we had you slated for, but all of it was shoddy. So, yeah, you don't get paid more. So, congratulations. You did more work from your point of view for less.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're actually able to do it to the proper standard, then you get paid more. So it incentivizes efficiency without a drop in standards, which saves the company money in the long run, because having someone who's able to do that 1.5 times work saves them from having to potentially hire another person to do a chunk of that work. Which means that rather than paying an entire new wage, they're instead paying one person who's doing 1.5 times 1.25 the standard wage. It saves them money. Also gives the person more money. Everyone ends up happy in that scenario. Which is why it doesn't make sense why there isn't any real company that I can see that does the incentive for efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a discretionary shift bonus or something.
Well, it would be different than just a shift bonus, or at least the way that shift bonus is normally used in my experience, where it's if you're working second or third shift, then you get a shift bonus or shift differential. This would be something that would be added on only if the other requirements are met, rather than just a, oh, you work at this time? Okay, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some jobs that this doesn't lend itself to at all. Like corrections, you could not try to do that in corrections because it doesn't have a measurable output. So it doesn't work. But in any job that has a measurable output, that is controlled by the actual person working and not controlled by a machine, because if it's controlled by a machine, then
Kind of fixing it as you could go.
its rate is set.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's controlled by the person, then it's a variable rate that they can control.
Machines only wear down. They'll get better at the job,
Say again?
Machines only wear down. They don't get better.
Yeah. Once a particular instrument is put in place, it can only get shittier, not better at what it's doing. Unless it's something where there's a bit of software that is being fine-tuned as things go. But
yeah, it can always sharpen a knife.
Yep. You can always repair it, you can always tune it back up, but it ends up having its max rate is set. And it is hard set rather than a soft set most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just drives me absolutely fucking mental that seems like something that should be a thing. And I thought about this while I was at work because I was doing more write-up than I was scheduled for because I just had the rate of work that, I was doing about 1.25, 1.5 times the write-up. And I'm going, why the fuck am I doing this? I don't get anything out of it. I'm just doing it so that no one's able to come by my desk and go, why aren't you working?
Yeah. Just look busy.
Yeah.
And I always hated feeling that way at work. Like if there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Create pointless busy work. What?
Yep. And that just hurts the company's bottom line when that becomes what happens. Because if someone's just trying to look busy rather than actually doing work, they aren't getting shit done. That's bad. You don't want to pay someone for not doing something.
Yeah.
And it's got to affect morale too.
Yep. And that's the reason why so many different areas, when you look at the culture of the people that are actually working the job, it's very much a, it gets done when it gets done.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than a being motivated to do as much as they can.
Well, it's like I always say, I just work here.
Yep. It becomes the I just work here. And it becomes the, well, why would we do more than this? It's not like we're going to get paid more. I don't get why people suddenly forgot. Because this used to be something that was commonly known. That if you want to encourage an activity, you incentivize it.
Yeah.
If you want to discourage an activity, you have something that selects away from it, a punishment of some sort. When it comes to government, if you want to encourage an activity, do an incentive, do a tax credit for it, do something along those lines. If you want something that is selected against, then you have a tax debt imposed for doing it.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to give the government more money than they have to.
Yeah.
But we've been just getting everything back asswards, where people will say that they want to encourage stable families, and then they'll put a bunch of financial benefits in for people that are single parents.
Mm-hmm.
People will say that they want to encourage group X or Y to do something, and then they don't actually put any incentives for that to be done.
That requires work, you know.
Well, it requires doing something that would actually fix an issue, which is anathema to most of the political class.
Yeah, but if they fix the issues, they have nothing to run on.
Yeah, that's the problem that we have with politicians. When a politician fixes an issue, it means that they can't run on that issue in the future.
Yeah.
Which is bad for them, because they care about getting reelected.
Yep. Shit, sad to the world these days.
Just drives me crazy, because now it's infecting business as well, because we constantly see these practices happening in business, where a business ideally would want its workers to be motivated and to be efficient. But then they don't have any policies that encourage efficiency. Because they'll have, for example, set pay scales, where it's, you're at the job for this amount of time, you have this level of a position, this is the pay that you get. And there's no mobility on that. It is set in stone from the go. So why the fuck would you work harder? It's not going to earn you anything. You need to have meritorious raises. And like I said, you should probably have a system where you encourage people to do more work efficiently. Keep the same standards, just do it a bit quicker. That way, you get a bit more money, and the business gets a bit more money, because the business is able to profit off the work that you did a bit more efficiently, and you're getting some money from the business for doing that work more efficiently.
Well, most people just want to do band-aids to the issues anyway, you know?
Yeah.
Like they don't want to fix the inflation. They're going through and all that shit, and
well, they don't want to fix the inflation because they would have to admit that the practices that they put in place caused inflation to begin with.
Yeah.
So that is a no-go, because the only thing worse than not being able to run on something in the future is someone being able to throw in your face, wait, your policy is the one that you said would do all this? Yeah, you admitted they fucked up.
Yeah. Personal accountability in government. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
We should bring back car and feathering, you know?
Yeah. Bring back the stockades.
Oh.
Or really, all we just need to do is bring back the mentality when it comes to voting of shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Where if a politician has been preaching the same shit for the past 20 years that they've been in office...
I don't think most people pay attention.
Yeah, most people don't. Which is, people need to pay attention, and people need to realize that, like I said, if someone has been saying that they're going to fix a problem for the past 20 years, and the problem's still there, what makes you think that during the 21st and 22nd year, they'll get off their ass and do something? Hold them to the fire. Hold them to the standard of, you're going to fix this problem? Okay, how are you going to fix this problem?
Well, maybe it's
That's
the problem.
what you're going to do? Okay, let's see if you actually do it.
That's part of the problem.
Joe,
It's kind of hard to hold our politicians to be accountable.
No, it really isn't that hard. All it takes is people to keep an eye on them, see if they do what they say that they're doing, and see if it has the effect that they said it was going to have. If they aren't doing it...
but look at the results of that. You have people like Joe and Camel Toe who are failing upwards. Most popular president in all of American history.
Yep, because no one has done the shit or get off the pot vote for them. It has always been that Bernie Sanders is probably the best fucking example of this. Bernie Sanders, how fucking long has he been saying that it's the millionaires and the billionaires?
Forever.
Did I say millionaires? I meant just the billionaires.
Yep,
Us millionaires, we're okay. All you have to do is write a book, and you'll be a millionaire too.
Yeah, once he became a millionaire, suddenly it was just billionaires. That's a bit interesting.
Yeah.
Especially since everyone still says that he's the most consistent person in politics. I think that's a big inconsistency.
Glaring inconsistency.
And also, he hasn't done anything either. So
exactly, that's what I was saying. That he's had these points that he keeps on raising, and he's been saying them for fucking ages, that it's the millionaires and the billionaires. Oh wait, I'm a millionaire. It's the billionaires.
Yeah.
But then you look at what he's actually done.
Dick all.
Yep. So what you do in that case is you go, okay, Bernie, you aren't doing shit in the position. And for some reason, you keep on saying that what you need to have happen in order for something to move forward is for you to be moved out of the position where you actually have direct ability to influence and put forward the measures that you want. You need to be moved to an office that has none of the ability to do that. How does that make sense? The right answer is it fucking doesn't.
The people who vote these types of people into office are either woefully ignorant or just stupid, and they just keep voting them in, thinking the 25th time's the charm.
And just to make sure people don't think that I'm saying that this is entirely the Democrats' fault, though a fair bit
That's any politician.
You have this for Republicans as well, where you'll have someone who has been talking about states' rights and the freedoms of the individual, but every opportunity that they have to personally enrich themselves at the cost of personal liberties and freedoms and at the cost of states' rights, suddenly that talking point kind of fades away. It makes no fucking sense why people keep on going, oh, they actually have this policy. No. Look at what they put forward. Look at what they vote for. Every politician. Whether it's on the other side or whether it's on your side, you should look at what they say, look at what they do. And if what they say does not correspond with what they do, what they say is fucking meaningless.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time I wanted to be a politician, but I found out quick I have what it takes, because it's just crazy shit.
Are you really good at lying to people to the face?
Nope.
Well, most people seem to not want to think for themselves. They want to, outsource their thinking to the experts or media personalities or news entertainers or politicians, whoever, and they don't actually pay attention to the actual facts. They're just like, oh, they said this, okay. MSNBC said this, Fox said this. They just don't care.
And I've said before, the thing that pisses me off about that is people keep on talking about consensus, and they always forget the most important part of any consensus, which is the begrudging consensus. That second word in the begrudging consensus, begrudging, is the most important part of that. Because a begrudging consensus means that not everyone wants it to be that way, but they have to admit that it is.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's the I'm not voting for this person, I'm voting against the other person. Which is also a major glaring flaw in our democratic societies.
I also think that voting should be Canada as well.
Say again?
I think that voting should be Canada as well.
Yeah, I've always believed that if you can't garner, a certain percentage of the vote, then the electoral process needs to be redone. Like if somebody, just throwing a number, if somebody can't at least garner 40% of the electorate, then you pack up, you start again. You have 2 months to redo everything. I know the first argument against that is, oh, well, that's going to cost a lot of money and a lot of, well, yeah. But I mean, what is it going to cost to try to fix I'm just going to say a broken system?
Well, the
guts are still good. The bones are still good. There's just been so many layers of corruption and apathy and all sorts of different things that have just corrupted it.
The main issue that I see is one that you just mentioned in that last bit, the apathy. If we had that sort of system, we would constantly be in that 2-month cycle.
Yeah.
Because
what was the last two presidential elections, weren't they up at like almost 70%?
I don't think so. Let me quickly double check.
That was like very close, I believe.
Let's see. It was
turnout data for 2016 was at 60% and 50% for 2018. In the 2012 election, resulting in a turnout of 54.9%. So yeah, I mean, like it doesn't. I'm not looking for a majority like 80% or something ridiculous like that. I think it should actually be low. It should be a pathetically low number so that you can look to that number and be like, oh my God, 40% of the electorate turned out, 30%, whatever. Better people than I will come up with that number, but they'll say that's pathetic, and that means that it's basically a vote of no confidence by not voting. But at the same time, I also believe that you shouldn't feel compelled to vote.
Yeah.
A non-vote, like Jason just said, is still a vote.
Yes. So
it's still showing your disdain for your choices.
Well, it's showing
that would eventually inspire better choices.
It shows one of two things, and the difficulty is determining which thing any individual's displaying, because it's either disdain for both or apathy for both.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
you really don't care who's in power in the presidency because you view the candidates as just different coats of paint, palette swaps, effectively.
They pretty much are, though. So
then that's a different thing than if it's, no, I fucking hate all the candidates.
Yeah. I usually do a protest vote anyway.
I still think it's a civic duty, and I do my duty.
Yeah.
Duty. But and I'll do my research of whom I'm voting for, because we have a different system. You're voting directly for representatives and blah, 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 blah. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
If I don't like any of the people in my riding, I'm just not going to vote. Which is very rare. I mean, there's at least, one or two candidates who I'm like, okay, well, I don't agree with them on everything, but this person seems the best. That's who I vote for. Very few times have I actually, as a matter of fact, to get Rob Ford into provincial office here, it was a spite vote because Kathleen Wynne was basically pro-CRT, basically pedophilia, and pushing the GAE agenda on children. And that was the big kicker. That was the oh hell no, and most of the province spoke up. I mean, it's kind of telling with how he handled COVID and how inept he is for office. There's plenty I can rag on him for. It's just constantly social media is the cancer. Constantly on social media, people are like, he should resign because I didn't get my vaccine shot.
Oh God.
What does that have to do with anything? You know, those are federally mandated and allocated, right? No, it. Wait, what? Yeah, thanks for playing. Get the fuck out. There's the door.
Yeah.
It's almost like you guys could have benefited from a system like what we started with, where it was the local and provincial would be your version of state, correct?
Yeah.
So local and provincial governments place the orders, and then the federal government is the distributor, because that's what we started with in the states, and people were getting pissed off that isn't enough control by the federal government. Why the fuck should the federal government have any more control than, okay, New York, you said that you needed this number of vaccinations. Okay, we paid for the vaccinations. Here's your vaccinations. And then allow New York to deal with the actual distribution, because they know their area better than the federal government does. They know where the people that need the shots are better than the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck should the federal government?
Do they though? There's that whole thing about New York and Michigan and mass murdering tyrants who I know they're the exception, not the rule, but God damn, like that is one of the most egregious examples of recent memory of somebody failing so egregiously and not being held to task.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally mass murderers, those two governors.
Yep. But yeah,
and they're getting away with it. And they'll probably get reelected too, which is mind-boggling.
Did you know the story that Como was losing to somebody? Or was that Whitner?
I know that de Blasio had his kind of hand-selected candidate for the Democrat mayoral race.
Yeah.
And the hand-selected candidate got absolutely fucking stuffed.
Was that, oh God, what's her name? The one with the dreads?
Yes.
The old lady? Oh yeah, she got crushed! Oh my God. Calling the other Democratic mayoral candidate, who's black,
racist.
A racist because her nephew gets stopped, and because because the other candidate is in favor of things like stop and frisk and the crime squad, who deceptively titled squad, but they are special task force that deals exclusively with firearm crime. Moreover, illegal firearm crime. So they would embed undercovers to try to make buys of illegal weapons to get them off the streets and arrest people who have illegal guns. You know, the people who are actually responsible for 85% of the freaking murders in that state.
Yeah.
But no, doing those kinds of programs are racist because they help people. Motherfucker, what?
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of gentrification, I guess.
Well, that's the other thing, too. Her biggest... Excuse me.
You didn't need that lung, right?
little bit of the lung butter going on. Her biggest contributors to her campaign, the people who gentrified like swaths of like Brooklyn and other parts of New York, the 5 boroughs, that pushed all the poor and working class people out.
Mm-hmm. And the guy who beat her, who is the tough on crime, actually moderate Democrat, which is a fucking rarity now.
Eric Adams, thank you.
Yep, was going for, yep, we need to reinstitute the policies that we saw
worked.
actually had an effect, because we had this massive crime issue. These policies got enacted, and our crime issue started dying off. Then these policies were pulled from the books, and our crimes started increasing again. Maybe that has a connection to it. Let's put them back in place. But because for the educated few in the Democrats, saying that maybe police aren't evil is completely verboten, he's clearly a racist.
His Eric Adams is major opposition from the Republican nominee, which, you know, it's New York, so bad chance, but is Curtis Sliwa, who founded the Guardian Angels.
Nice.
That, for anybody who doesn't know, the Guardian Angels are I wouldn't call them vigilantes, because they're not really, they don't actively physically involve in most cases. They're, you know, your neighborhood watch. Eyes open, ears open, looking for crime, taking stock of what's going on. Obviously, it started in 78, 79.
Mm-hmm.
So before cameras were everywhere, but even in addition to the cameras, it helps to have, you know, human eyes. And especially if they're out in groups of like 5, 6, 12, you have, yes, we all saw, or, you know, 8 out of the 10 of us saw this guy dump the gun in the bin. Mm-hmm. They can, the police and the ADA can use that to actually form convictions. It was really helpful, in addition to these crime bills, to obliterate the crime rates in hives that were just hotbeds of these types of crime, like in New York City. You look at the juxtaposition on something that's going on in, say, Chicago, where they never instituted these types of policies. In fact, they seem to be going backwards and releasing violent felons. I'm trying to look for the name of the other, Maya Wiley, who is so hilarious. She says she's black. She looks very white. The white features, very, 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 very light-skinned, but acts like she's all oppressed and all that. Was, of course, endorsed by the Squad.
I'm trying to remember the really stupid word that she made. It was...
Oh, God.
Oh, momentum. Rather than momentum, she said that the guy who ended up beating her was really riding the momentum.
Oh.
And I'm going, what the fuck? He beat you. He beat you like a red-headed stepchild.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about a couple interesting things. First of all, Andrew Yang, bless his heart. Oh my God, he flopped harder than Maya.
Stomped out, yeah.
He got completely stomped. But Eric Adams, again, the Democrat frontrunner, doesn't even live in New York City, in any of the 5 boroughs. He apparently, his prime residence is in New Jersey, and his one of his properties that he has on, you know, the forms you have to fill out when you're running for office. So he's a carpetbagger. He's got multiple properties in New York City. Really tells you something. I hate playing these partisan party politicking, but when you're looking at Eric Adams and you're looking at Sliwa, I mean, I know who I'd want representing me. Take away the color. Take away the name of the party alliance. You got the founders of the Guardian Angels or some rich property-owning carpetbagger. I think New York has kind of had enough of their rich Upper East Side, New Jersey types that
one would hope, but
yeah, I
New
mean,
York.
You still get the occasional anomaly. Like obviously, I make no qualms about the fact that I love Trump. I think he was one of the greatest things to happen to your political system. But that's kind of an exception to the rule, because when he came into the game, he wasn't trying to be a politician. He was trying to be Trump. And sometimes that worked against him when he was like, can we do, oh God, I started doing Bernie. What I want to do is I want to make things better. So can we do this? And no, Mr. Trump, that's not really within your purview. Well, we're going to make it work. And he'd get on the phone with the people who are responsible for that. And hopefully they'd be part of the Republican Party. So he could say, this is I can't do a good Trump. This is the president. Let's make this happen. Let's work on this problem. And you're going to get reelected. That's what it takes to make government work. Somebody's got the cojones to, coming back full circle to what we were just talking about, Sanguine, taking the extra steps to go above and beyond in your job so that everybody wins in the long run. He's playing the long game. He's not playing the short game.
Yep, and the main source of kryptonite that he had when he was in office was the party, or the people, rather, that they cared less about what their side wanted and more about what they themselves wanted.
Yeah.
Because there were a bunch of deals that he would give absolute fucking sweetheart deal offers. And people would go, no, because it would hurt me if I actually did this because my people are somewhat insane. Even though this would benefit them, no.
Yeah, like the whole Amazon deal for New York.
The Amazon deal for New York, or the main one that I'm thinking is when the Democrats were trying to throw their toys out of the pram when it came to immigration. And Trump did okay, how many people do you want? And they gave him a number, and he went, I'll give you twice that. All you have to do is sign the line now. And you get twice as many as you just said you wanted.
No!
Yep.
I mean, I really do pray that with how many people voted, even if there's a margin for error, people are taking a little bit more notice and are realizing shit like that is going on and are probably going to vote I'm not saying you have to vote direct opposite, but maybe they'll actually vote for Green or Libertarian or whatever other smaller representatives are local to them. Maybe they'll stop just, oh, well, that whole chain of, well, my parents were Democratic voters, my grandparents are Democratic voters, so might as well just vote Democrat for the first 40 years of my life, Take note, because, it's not a Democrat Republican issue. It's a government issue. People really have to start scrutinizing their political leaders. And we should make political office servants again.
And like I said, the main thing to that is start voting in a manner that shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
If someone has been saying that they're going to do something for the past 20 years and they have done jack and shit towards doing it, don't vote for them again.
Yeah.
Because they aren't actually going to do it. They've made it clear for the past 20 years. Why the fuck would you think on the 21st and 22nd that they might go, well, now's the time to do this?
Did you hear that Nancy Pelosi's husband made $5 million off of stocks after they passed antitrust laws?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Keeper's asking about. I know he's asking. She's asking directly for Terry if they saw the TED Excellence from Scribe today. I watched it for about 15-20 minutes. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. The woman was so over, like even more so for some of these TED Talks, insane than the norm. I couldn't deal with it. She was so psychotic. It was basically, for anyone who didn't catch it, you should go check out Scribe Light's channel. Today's TED Excellence. It was all about basically vagina power and turning culture into a vagina-based culture. What does that mean? Well, you don't even need to have a vagina to be pro-vagina-based culture. And I just stop it. Just stop it.
Does that mean pro getting fucked?
I don't know what it means. That was part of the problem. All she made was like some stupid, nonsensical, feminist-based arguments where it's just like, wait, what?
Yeah, the TED Talks and TEDx, TEDx Talks are just absolutely fucking insane. And the ones that
Scribe
keep
finds
on...
some gems. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, he does. And the ones that keep on just goddamn killing me are the ones that are about prisons.
Oh yeah.
Because almost every fucking time the person talking about prisons, I'm going, please tell me they got fired. Please tell me they got fired. Please tell me they got fired. Because just from how they're talking, I am automatically going, they're fucking an offender, or they're about to fuck an offender, or they have fucked several offenders at this point. If not, smuggling. It's just every time, because they'll talk about the offenders in this. They're just really good guys that have a hard... No. You fucked up at that point. Because the thing that you have to realize, I talked about this yesterday a bit, is these guys don't really have anything that they have to do other than things that they choose to do. Like, some of them choose to do jobs and shit like that. But the main source of what they can do, the main thing that they can do, is fuck with the people that are there.
Mm-hmm.
So they start kind of manipulating people and really trying to figure out, who can I possibly get to do what? And they're really damn good at that. They can spot someone that they can manipulate.
Yeah.
Some goddamn fucking sociopaths.
Yep.
It's part of the reason why I would be able to do the job, you know. So.
Yeah. And there's certain things that you always have to remember when you're working that sort of job. 90% of what they say is bullshit.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you treat them like an asshole. It just means that if they tell you something, don't automatically go, oh, isn't that sad? Because I had a guy, while I was a correction officer, who was ranting and raving about how he was set up. It's bullshit that he was in prison. By the way, prisons, if you listen to the offenders, they're full of nothing but the most innocent people, and then like one or two absolutely just, yeah, I fucking killed him.
Yeah.
But the guy was talking about how he was set up, it was fucked up, And one of the other correction officers went, "What do you mean? What happened?" And he starts going into this massive story that it was everyone else was at fault for everything. It wasn't his fault that he did the meth that he did, because someone left it out for him to do it.
Yeah.
So it was their fault that he did the meth that he found. And it's just him going completely fucking off. Like I said, ranting like a goddamn madman about how it's everyone else's fault that he did the meth, and then the police found him because he was wandering around butt naked on the street. He wasn't harming anyone. Why did they have to fuck with him? That was all their fault. And then they got mad because they tried to arrest him and he started fighting back. That isn't fair. Hey, Johnny.
How's it going?
How goes?
Oh my god, it speaks.
Yep. And it's going well for me. What about yourself?
Not too bad. It's been a good day.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is so creepy. I love it.
I can stare
You
too.
keep looking at me.
Yep.
Looking at me.
I was
dude.
turning mine on, I don't feel like it though.
See,
Staring
that was
at
the
me
best
with
part.
those
The fact that he can just stare you down functionally.
creepy. Yeah. Well, I mean,
I can do the whole Brady
I'm
Bunch
totally
thing.
mean mugging it. So
I can do the whole Brady Bunch thing. So I can look up and look over
Yep.
that's actually pretty awesome.
diagonally.
Do you have
But-
mocap or is it a controller? Or?
That's face rig,
Oh, nice.
Nice.
and I can do a few other things if I remember how to do them.
But yeah, what have you been up to today? We're just talking about TEDx talks and how they're fucking off the wall a good chunk of the time. Especially any time that I see one about prisons, I'm just going, oh my god, they're fucking an offender. They are absolutely fucking an offender.
Mm-hmm.
Like that San Diego chick.
Yep.
Was the chromosome lady? That was the only one too.
Yeah, I was about to say which one.
Yeah, there's a number of them. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
It just drives me crazy because, like I said, you can, when you get into that job, in very short order, you start to get that feel of, this person's probably fucking someone. Because one of the first signs that you notice is if someone suddenly starts wearing makeup into work.
aren't they not supposed to do that?
Yeah, they're not supposed to change anything about how you appear when you get the job. So if you come in first day in light makeup and you come in every day in light makeup, maybe 1 or 2 days you forget, but pretty much every day it's just light makeup, no problem. If you came in light makeup to no makeup and you do that for several months and then suddenly you start wearing really apparent lipstick and you start caring about your eyeshadow and the mascara, yeah, everyone realizes that you're fucking someone.
That's sexist.
It's fucking true.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how Sanguine lost his corrections job. He started showing up to work all gothed out.
He had rouge on, you know.
They looked over to the Latina gangsters with their shaved off eyebrows and their thick black makeup everywhere, and they were like, "You fucking one of them?"
No, because if I was, then I would have been arrested and actually tried.
Yeah.
And probably
Unlike-
and
Yep,
the
and-
other ones.
I would have been convicted and sent out of state if I had done anything like that.
The
As-
Department of Corrections drew the line at the garters and heels.
But yeah, the thing that I've ranted about this many times, but it still pisses me off. We had while I was working there, we had a single male correction officer. He wasn't at my prison. He was, I think, a transport guy. at either HQ or somewhere else in the state. And he was found out to have traded a cheeseburger for a blowjob. And they found out, he was arrested, he was tried, I believe he was convicted, and he was sent out of state to serve his time in another state, because that's what they do with every police officer and correction officer. They don't serve in the state.
Trying to weigh that sort of choice. Cheeseburger, blowjob, what was she convicted of? Meth? She probably doesn't have teeth. Okay, I'll go with the beach.
But yeah, so...
Murder? I'll keep my cheeseburger, thanks.
Yep. But yeah, so he got arrested, charged, convicted, and serving time out of state now because they don't send them to state facilities if they were a Leo in the state.
Yeah,
to include correction officers.
But federal prison or like state prisons?
Those weren't sesame seeds on that bun.
So when it comes to that sort of crime, they go to a different state's prison.
Okay.
You only end up in federal if you're convicted of federal, effectively.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So if, like I said, a police officer's arrested for something, they don't serve time in the state that they were arrested in, because that leaves too high of a chance that they'll go to the prison and someone will go,
cop,
fucking officer Smuckett, you got my ass landed in here. And suddenly that police officer loses the ability to fart audibly. But
it just sounds like a milk jug.
Yeah. They get sent out of state to a different facility, and that way they are able to make it through a hell of a lot easier. Same thing with correction officers, because if an offender had a problem with you because you told him that no, you would not give him an extra milk carton that day, and he just holds that grudge, then if you ended up in the same prison, he would try to get even, and he would have an easier time of getting even. Also, it risks having one of their former co-workers show preferential treatment. So, get shipped out of state. But for every single female officer that got caught sucking fucking smuggling, no charges.
But I thought they wanted equality.
They treat it like they're the Catholic Church.
Yeah, effectively, they
just transfer them up.
Well, that was the one thing that thankfully they didn't do. They didn't just transfer them to a different facility. They got walked and locked. So they were escorted out of the prison and locked out and put on a blacklist of do not allow this motherfucker to ever come anywhere near this prison.
Yeah, it's that whole notion of men can't be victims.
Despite the fact that on the books, all sex in prison's rape.
Yeah.
It's that power privilege thing, right?
It's just what the state decided that they were going to have all sex be considered rape within the prison. That way, someone who is actually getting violated won't be pressured to say that, no, we're just boyfriends or anything like that. It is, if we catch them fucking the one with his penis and the other one, that one's committing rape.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
And going along with that, the state doesn't have conjugal visits anymore. So they are without sex by the mind of the state.
Don't want to lose your rights. Don't do the crime.
Yeah, though that leads to weird shit, like the time that walking on round and I saw a guy getting very excited about a Reese's peanut butter cup commercial. And another guy that was really happy with his sandwich.
Well, I'm sure you found a lot of dirty socks, you know.
Oh, you don't even want to hear about the weird shit that we found. only thing that I'll say about that is someone made an interesting device during arts and crafts with paper mache.
Okay.
Yeah, you do not want to take a black light into those cells because it'll blind you.
The flashlight that I got while I was working there had several different settings. So it had a standard white, had a red light, which I preferred because it doesn't destroy night vision. And I worked nights, so able to go by, less likely to wake them, less likely to fuck over my own eyes. A blue light, which I never used because that just absolutely fucking destroys any sort of night vision that you had. And then it had the EUV, and I made it very clear anytime that someone borrowed my flashlight, you can set it to this setting, or this setting. Do not hit that button one more time unless you want to see the Jackson Pollock they've all painted in their cells.
That makes Jackson Pollock look like a kindergarten finger painter.
Yeah. Just the amount of goddamn splatter that you'd probably see if you did that.
Yeah. Be everywhere.
Can't they give the poor prisoners some tissue or something? God.
Well, like I said,
that's a lot of tissue.
like I said, one dude was just really happy with his sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He had an entirely different meaning to fucking good food.
Yeah. It was made out of baby meat, right?
I remember I went to visit a relative of mine, and the family in front of me, she was like 12, and she was wearing a dress, and the guards are like, she can't come in here.
Yep.
And everyone's like, well, why not? I'm like, she's wearing a fucking dress in a prison.
Yeah, you're throwing a gazelle into a tiger pen.
Yeah, that's.
No. Yeah, we had.
Yeah, they might be prisoners. There might be guards everywhere, but you're still gonna fuck shit up. You're still gonna raise the tension in the room. No bueno. Sorry.
Yeah, we had very strict rules on what people could wear for visitation.
Yeah.
And there were a number of times that women got really pissed off that they couldn't wear their tube tops and ultra low rise jeans into the visiting room, and we're going, you fucking retarded. No. Yeah, I don't care if you drove 4 hours for this. If you're trying to come in that, no. Do you have somewhere else that you can get clothes? Fuck. In fact, there's a Walmart down the road here. Get a t-shirt, get a pair of fucking sweatpants, come back.
Yeah, kind of like in high school. I'm all for enforced dress codes. Dude, even back when I was in high school, chicks in t-shirts and jeans, that was bad enough. Now they're walking in dressed like $2 hookers.
Yeah.
No wonder boys are failing at record rates. There's too much blood in their damn penis from sitting in class with a hard-on all day.
Nice.
My brain needs that blood. I need to learn my maths.
See, this is just reminding me of getting really pissed off when I was at... I think I've told you guys before about this. I don't know if I have, though. From like 1st grade to 8th grade, or halfway through 8th grade, I ended up in parochial.
Yeah.
So, Catholic school. Dealing with that shit. Men had the option of gray slacks or gray slacks.
Oh, you didn't have the third option of gray slacks? That's a shame.
For a very short period of time,
slightly grayer slacks,
you were allowed these green shorts that had to have been German. And I'm not talking like traditional lederhosen German. No, I'm talking about discotheque Germans.
Little tight shorts.
Yeah, they were like half thigh length green shorts. Whereas girls could wear dresses. Well, it wasn't really called a dress, but you know what I'm talking about. The standard
skirts and whatnot.
Skirt, but it has like the overall top bit to it. I can't remember what the fuck those things are actually called. They could wear skirts without that. They could wear slacks, or they could wear shorts. And it would hit fucking summer, and all the guys would be going like, Can I fucking wear one of the skirts? I mean, son of a bitch!
Yeah.
Especially since we had the policy, at least for a few years, that any time that you were in the hall, you were technically supposed to have your sweater on.
Okay, Lord.
So, middle of spring, when it's getting nice and hot, towards the beginning of summer, slap that shit on. When you're in the hall that was not really all that AC, that fucking sucked.
Sounds awful.
And that is a bit of a myth, but not entirely a myth element. So, the girls in low grades would wear their skirt the entirely by the book proper way, and they might have been a little bit longer. The main thing about the upper grade girls is they learned to roll their skirts to have shorter skirts. It'd still be the same standard skirt, just they would kind of roll up the top of it until they got it to the length that they wanted. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I did not experience very few of the attractive girls at a Catholic school, because most of my Catholic school, fucking ugly as sin.
See, I just looked up dress code for St. Mary's Catholic School in Wisconsin. Let's see. Bottoms for boys and girls. Mm-hmm. Students must wear full-length, solid color pants.
Yep.
To the ankle with a finished hem bottom.
Yep.
Pants must be constructed from a cotton or cotton poly non-denim fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And ours had to be pleated.
Breathable, of all things. Let's see. Pants may not be torn or tattered. Okay, yeah, I get that. And must fit appropriately, not too baggy or tight.
Mm-hmm.
Spandex, elastic, tight-fitting leggings, jeggings, exercise pants, etc. are never allowed.
Yep.
Dress cargo khaki shorts of appropriate length, top of the knee or longer.
Yeah, we didn't have that. Like I said, we had like the fucking German disco mid-thigh were the guys' shorts for some reason. It was fucking weird. No one wore them because of that.
Or capris may be worn during September, October, April, May, and June. Undergarments may not be visible, and pants must be worn at the waistline.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get that one white kid who wants to rage against the machine and wears a dashiki.
But yeah, our fucking sweaters were, of course, wool as well.
Yeah.
Shirts must be polo shirts or Oxford-style button-down shirts with long or short sleeves. No more than the top two buttons may be unbuttoned.
Yep.
So you would be strangling yourself all day long.
And for the school that I went to, if you wore the button-down, you had to have a tie. So you had the option of a polo shirt, which was not the most comfortable because you had to buy it from effectively one of two different stores in the area. And it had to be very specific fabrics in the shirt. Or you could have the button down and then you'd need to wear a tie.
dress days.
Yeah, the dress code was bullshit, and like I said, I didn't even get the nice part of the dress code because most of the people at that school were fucking ugly as sin.
It says they have relaxed dress days, but they're probably like one day out of like 6 months of a year.
Oh yeah, it was about once a month there would be a casual Friday. And even during casual Friday, there were fairly strict constraints as to what you could and could not wear on casual Friday. Like, if you wore pants, they had to be of certain dimensions. If you wore shorts, they had to be of a specified length. Which, that was the weird one, because casual Friday shorts had to be at knee or below knee. The actual school shorts, mid-thigh. What? Why? Why is that the different? Who the fuck designed this shit? Yeah, absolutely no tank tops. Tank tops were completely verboten. And you had to have your shoes properly polished, you had to have a belt, and all that shit while you were walking around the school as well. Like I said, the goddamn dress code was a bit of bullshit, but...
Yeah, my dress code wasn't that bad. You can only wear t-shirts with a blank t-shirt, pants. Got it, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I get why school uniforms exist. I have no problem with school uniforms. I have a problem with that specific set of school uniforms.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of uniforms, but dress codes are okay. Like there was this school board. Probably might have been Washington. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the boys weren't allowed to wear shorts. So what they did is there were like 150 boys who all came to school in the skirts,
Yep.
the legal skirts, until the school board said, "Okay, fine, we'll give you options for shorts."
And I bet they didn't get the gay-ass German shorts.
Probably not. They're probably the schoolboy shorts, like, you know, the Angus Young, plain, just above the knee, pockets. But
Yeah,
you look at some of these protests of the other side of, like, the girls who are like, I know it was big here in Toronto, and you look at some of these girls, they're in booty shorts and bras.
Yep.
Sorry, bitch, that's not appropriate dress. It's not sexist, it's not appropriate.
Yep.
Boys aren't coming to school in a fucking sports bra and boxer shorts. Neither can you stupid twats.
Well, you know, it's the tiny girl brain, you know.
And the examples that they always try to give of boys don't have to deal with this, I'm always going, okay, I don't really think that is a common dress style. Like, they'll always say, well, boys are allowed to wear wife beaters. Most of them probably aren't just wearing wife beaters.
And no, they're not. In most cases, the shoulder does have to be covered unless it's a school athletic uniform.
Yeah,
type thing.
that's what I was just about to say.
Like the basketball team.
Yeah, they
like
had to have sleeves.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. When most of the time when I saw someone when I was in high school that was just wearing a wife beater, it was because we were in the locker room getting changed out into football pads and shit like that, or getting changed out into our normal clothes from our football pads because, yeah, you change. And you wear shit beneath the football pads because you don't want your nipples getting caught in the plate segments.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that pinch. But it's always a what the fuck whenever I hear people really start bitching and moaning about dress codes, because it's always something that I'm going, why are you even trying to wear that? They say that we have to have a shirt that isn't low cut. Why are you trying to wear a low cut shirt to this? What? Why is that a necessary component of you going to either work or to the school?
Because they realize at a very early age, showing off the newly acquired girls will garner them lots of attention, and people will do things and go out of their way for them. These girls aren't stupid. They know exactly why they do that.
There was a girl here that started a quote-unquote ruckus when she got in trouble for wearing a sleeveless shirt that had her bra exposed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, dress code. And people are like rallying with her, like, blah, blah, blah. No one said anything about distracting the boys. It's a fucking dress code issue.
Yep.
Like, fucking hell. And so one of the main pictures, one of her friends or someone who wanted to fuck her, I guess, put a bra on over his shirt and then stood in front of the camera like a fucking idiot. And it's like, oh, look what I can do. And I'm just like, that's no.
It's not the same thing.
Not even close. You're just looking like an idiot. And whatever statement you think you're making is not working out for you.
No, I would have been perfectly fine with and laughed my ass off if the response would have been someone going, well, shit, okay, now you're getting written up, but I'm a guy.
You're distracting the boys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elvin says she didn't have one. I don't think my schools did either, but there was never really a need for it. And in fact, after Columbine, because I fucking just dressed like Johnny Cash, you know, depending on the weather, it was like black pants or black shorts with a black dress shirt and a black overcoat and a black ball cap, like, you know, a skinny Silent Bob. And after that, there was a wall of teachers at the front of the school. Me and my friends, who we weren't goths or emos or anything weird like that. We just dressed in black. That's just how we dressed. They were like, we don't think it's appropriate dress for today. And we're like, okay, so no school for us today? No, you're gonna have to go home and change. Well, we're not doing that. Well, you're at least gonna have to take off your trench coats. No, we're not doing that either. And you can't.
Home, we're not coming back.
Yeah, and they knew it's against the law, so they just stood aside. They tried to coerce us. They failed. They just stood aside and let us get into school, because denying us school for no clear violation, just because they thought it would be in poor taste. Why? Because suddenly every teenager who wears a black trench coat is a fucking school shooter? No, go fuck
the
yourself.
trench coat mafia.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Two guys and the fucking planet loses his mind.
Now I had a friend who, you know, he was one of a group that, you know, they wore trench coats, and I don't know. It was too hot for that shit, so I never touched it. But and this kid, I barely knew him. Like I knew him through my friend, and he never mentioned himself being a goth until the press came away and was like, he's like, oh yeah, shit, yeah, I'm a goth. Right after Columbine. So he's like, yeah, I do this stuff. Whatever. I'm goth for life. Like, shut up.
Much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't ever a problem back then. Like the worst, say, a girl would show up to school is maybe she'd be wearing like a really, really tight t-shirt and really, really tight shorts. Was it a distraction? Yes, but it was something most of us could just get past. Like occasionally, come on, we're all guys here. We know what it's like being a fucking hormone-addled fucking teenage boy. It's out of control. But there are certain limits that you can still buckle down and do the schoolwork or pay attention to the lesson, what have you. There is a point though where you're wearing a bra and booty shorts, practically coming to school in underwear. Yeah, that's something I'm just not going to be able to look past. It's basically all out there in the open.
Also, it's something that just never makes sense to me, because I'm thinking about when I was in high school and then in college, because it seems like these complaints always come out of high school and college. And I can't think of a time when my fucking classes didn't mandate a specific style of dress due to the sort that I was in. Because if you're in a lab class, long pants, closed-toed shoes, a proper shirt, you can have short sleeve or long sleeve, but nothing dangling.
Yeah, like appropriate, when you're doing more manual, hands-on type learning. Shop, science classes.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, why are you wearing those clothes into school? What classes are you even fucking taking if you're able to wear booty shorts into school?
Yeah, I
really
don't know.
Fireworks getting fired up over there.
Again, unless you're on the volleyball team, then have at it, sister, because I'm going to be in the stands checking out that ass.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not anymore, because I'm 3 times their age, but back then.
Yeah, we're not Matthew McConaughey now.
And yeah, same thing, Elwyn, university people showed up in pajamas and slippers for lectures. Me too. If I had a first period morning class in college, you're damn right I'm still wearing my fucking pajama bottoms and like a t-shirt and barely opened eyes and everything. Half the class showed up in their fucking pajamas, basically. Baggy t-shirt and pajama bottoms. Hell yeah. You get some weird looks at lunch, but by that time you're almost done for the day, so no big deal. And then you get some of the people who are taking like the late afternoon, early evening classes who are almost wearing club wear on like a Friday class. And you know that they're going to like go have dinner and then just go directly to a club.
Yeah, I just want to say I did that Dazed and Confused reference, Johnny.
Thank you.
He did a Dazed and Confused reference. Yeah. Oh.
Mm-hmm. And just because we were talking about how shitty the New York government was a little bit ago, apparently a number of New York subway stations are completely flooded.
Oh.
With water?
I'm hoping, but given how brown it is, it might not be.
Oh no.
Part of New York is built on trash too. So
Yeah, the New York subway station in New York completely flooded, and
Wow.
people are donning
Oh, it's
trash
water.
bags to try to get through the subway.
It's water. It's because of the severe thunderstorms and downpours we've had in the Northeast
Okay.
last week. Yeah, it's just flooding. Yeah,
Oh,
that
it's
happens
water in
here
city
too in our subways when it's really, really, really heavy, because we have not a similar layout, but a similar style of subway where it's partially underground, partially above ground. So you have these open sections of tunnel in addition to the subway entrances themselves.
yeah.
They allow for a little bit of evacuation of the water, but when it's severe, it'll just
Cool.
See,
yeah. Luckily, it's just water, and that brown is probably just dirt it's washing away, which is probably for the better.
I lived in Nova for a fair bit, and Nova also had the similar setup with its metros where
The
part
underground,
above,
above
part
ground.
below.
Yeah.
And I had never, in the entire time, even when it was just absolutely pissing down rain in buckets, had it where the rain would be thigh high in the subway.
Yeah.
Because this is thigh high to hip high.
I mean, this isn't like a normal thing. This is like a once in every 20, 25 years kind of event. And I know specifically, again, in my city, it's all downhill. So at the top of the line, it's more likely to be less flooded because all the water's going down to downtown on the lakeshore. And yeah, that's where you'll get the metro stations that are completely closed off because they're flooded top to bottom.
Okay.
Wow.
But again, that's a bit like, I think I've only seen that like once in my lifetime.
Yeah, this is the first time that I've seen a subway flooded that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just go, fuck it. I'm done. I don't think the subway is going to be able to come through, especially since they're electrified rails. If it's flooded like this where we are, it has to be flooded even worse in the trench. Yeah, I'm not touching the water.
Yeah, we actually had one that our central station, because our main line is shaped like a U, and the bottom Union Station was flooded just this past February, where it was because it's at the bottom. It was flooded. Let's see, it's about, I'd say about 4 feet of water in the subway level. It's crazy. Some of the other stations had a few feet.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call an Uber at that point. I'd just call in and go, fuck it, I'm not coming in.
Yeah, the apocalypse is here. Sorry, I can't come into work.
God damn, Mr. Hunt, you know.
The metro's currently flooded with 3 feet of water here. Yeah, no. And
Yep.
functional is
not happening.
sharing. Let me click that in.
So this was the east end of our city. This was not the down part.
Holy
But-
shit.
Yeah.
And there's no audio, but it is. You trust me when I say the water is roaring down those stairs. It's coming down the pillar. That was just in this February, and that was one of the exposed parts of the line. Again, like I said, the east end of the city in Scarborough,
Huh.
and yeah.
Nature.
We get a lot of moisture here because we're surrounded by two of the three Great Lakes,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of them aren't too far away. So there tends to be a lot of precipitation around here.
So they like wet cold all the time?
What's that?
Did they have a wet cold, all the time?
No.
No, you don't have that. No. It's South Texas. Every winter, cold and wet.
Yeah.
The humidity.
Here it's nice. Like we were having a bit of a heat wave, and then the last 3 days it's been raining on and off. So it cooled us down, and now we're at a good temperature again for this time of year. It's very, very unusual to get something like one of those freezing rains.
Oh yeah.
We mostly get either snow or, God, hail. Remember, probably 2001, there was a huge hailstorm here. Size of golf balls on average. The bigger ones, the size of softballs. My car got all the panels were dented as shit. No real damage, no glass damage, so I got away lucky, but my neighbor's window got shattered by a one the size of about my fist.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm
Size
curious.
of a baseball.
I'm curious if up there you have one of the same things that I have in my area, which is when you go more into the cities, there's a bunch of buildings with skyways connecting them.
Nope.
That are there so that in the winter you don't have to go outside. When it's absolutely pissing it down, you don't have to go outside. You can just walk between the buildings in the skyway.
No skyway, but we have something called the Path, which is basically an underground tunnel, foot tunnel.
Ah, okay.
There's shops scattered out around the place, food court here and there. Kind of like an underground mall. stretched out along in the downtown core area. So yeah, if you're working at the financial district and you got a meeting, with the west end of downtown, you basically don't have to leave the comfort of indoors.
Nice. So you guys just sink it down rather than having it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's
air.
geographical because of the position of our city. We're on top of the Canadian mineral shield, so we don't really get bad earthquakes. We might get tremors here and there, so it's very stable. Whereas something I can imagine like sky bridges are better for places where there probably isn't space underground for it, or it might be a little bit less tectonically sound.
Well, in my area, we're also North American Shield, so it isn't really an issue with that. It's probably just it's either a space issue or people just went, do we really want to have to fucking dig in the ground for this shit? Nah, string it up between the buildings.
Yeah.
It's probably cheaper that way too.
Just a roof bridge with a roof.
That would be fucking awesome. I would actually enjoy that.
Trust me, I lived for several years where they were building a subway extension in the north end of the city. I got so fucking frustrated. I'm like, fuck it, I'm moving. And like they finished it 2 months later. And then Elwin and I move into the place that we're at now. And like 6 months later, they start building a subway here. And it's like a crosstown subway. And it's just like, motherfucker. You motherfuckers. Stop it.
It's how they get you.
It's because the city is so old and streets are so narrow, especially compared to American cities. I mean, they're probably luxury road sizes compared to British cities, but
Depends on the town.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just there's nowhere for things like buses, above ground public transport to really get around without causing more of a congestion issue. So they have to build subways. Again, we've got the room, we've got the stability to be building underground, so they take that route. It's just so goddamn annoying, harping back to government corruption, because they'll go with the company who may not have the best quote or track record, but has given enough kickbacks, they get the contract. So something that's supposed to take 4 years ends up taking 8 years at 2.5 times the cost. And it's sort of like we're just sitting there with our thumbs up our asses like the voters. It's just like, no, this is so dumb.
Yeah, the construction always takes fucking forever when it comes to
Government
cities.
contracts. Yeah.
Well, government contracts in general and cities especially. I don't know what the fuck they do about
Like
it.
we were talking about, have incentives. Hey, you finish early, there's going to be a bonus. You finish over budget, overtime, there's going to be hell to pay.
There's going to be clawback, or have it where, if you meet
That's it.
all the requirements that are laid out, plus or minus a little bit of time to make allowance for something going pear-shaped.
Sure. Like COVID just happened.
Yep. Then you'll be valid for future contracts for the time being. If you fail, and you fail by this degree, then you aren't going to be considered eligible for, I don't know, a year to get a government contract. Just to make it so that if you fuck up, there's actually a punishment.
Yeah.
Like that bridge in Florida.
Say again?
There's a bridge in Florida.
The bridge in Florida that was built by Whammon.
Oh, right. The diversity hire squad.
Yeah. And that bridge went down like the Titanic.
Went down like Kamala going for her next job.
And it wasn't even as impressive as Galloping Gertie.
Oh, man.
Everyone knows what Galloping Gertie is, right?
I don't.
Okay, let me pull up a video of Galloping Gertie.
Yep. It is incredible. That's why when I heard about the
Well, can't be
The building
anything worse
collapse.
than Campbell showed me.
what's that?
Can't be anything worse than Campbell showed me.
When I heard about the building collapse in Florida, I'm like, who built it? Come on, fess up. Who built it? It was the diversity hires, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Okay,
all
so
women.
I think this is a good video of it. Let me share the screen. And I'm just going to share the video since I'm going to be.
What city was that in again?
Galloping Gertie is the Tacoma Narrows.
Tacoma.
So,
Check that shit.
yeah. That is the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, also known as Galloping Gertie.
Oh man.
And in a high wind, which that area was rather well known for, you get these absolutely massive pitches in the road. And I think this is actually of the run-up to the bridge literally shook itself apart.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the torsion in the bridge. Just gets...
The winds cause that?
Yeah.
Yep. It was poor design for the bridge and the high winds.
Now, if you can show it, show the I don't know if it's the Golden Gate Bridge, but when that thing is closed down to the severe winds or whatever, it's closed down because people are going to get tossed off, not because the bridge is going to fall over, because it was designed to do that and have enough give so that it wouldn't shake itself apart. It'd still be dangerous to be on the bridge, but at least the bridge isn't going to... Holy shit, that fucking...
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, it's something that
This is why I don't like high buildings.
all suspension bridges are technically designed so that they can flex, but it's a matter of at what point does it start to flex and how badly does it flex is the thing that you have to figure out. But yeah, this is all really goddamn old footage of the bridge because this shook itself apart. I want to say it was in the 70s or 80s. And yeah, there's a person currently trying to walk in the bridge.
He's trying to save a dog, they said.
Yep.
Yeah, 75 years ago.
Yeah. So it was back in the 50s then.
40s.
40s, okay.
Wow.
Well, I thought I saw it on they had it for a TV ad, but man, I didn't think it was a real thing.
Yeah, let's skip ahead to when it finally gives way so that you guys can see what happened with this shit. Yeah, it literally just shook itself apart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a bunch of money wasted.
Yep. And it was just due to a design error, effectively. So if they'd made the bottom of the bridge heavier, it wouldn't have been able to get that amount of motion.
Yeah.
And wouldn't have been able to shake itself apart like that. Another way would have been adding a what is it? Under trellis? I think it's an under trellis is the word for it. Which is this kind of skeletal, rigid section that you put under a bridge in order to increase its strength.
I forget what the term for it is. I think it's weighted pack or something. It's a series of beams and tightly packed, usually concrete, to sort of cement them in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. There's some kind of jargon name for it.
And Golden Gate Bridge sings depending on the direction of the wind.
Yeah, that I heard. That's really cool. There's that really interesting whistling from the handrails, like the guardrails along the side, because of the way that they're slatted. They make music. They go.
Yeah, and if it gets high enough, it's almost deafening, the sound that comes off of them.
Yeah. And that sumbitch is built to fucking last.
Oh yeah, I am absolutely gobsmacked by certain... I can't categorize them as anything short of mega projects that we've done before.
Mm-hmm.
Like the goddamn Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
God damn that dam.
Do you know how long it'll take for that concrete to finish curing? Because the Hoover Dam has not finished curing. Anyone care to guess how long?
2080.
No.
It's never going to be finished curing.
It'll be over 1,000 years
Oh, yeah? Wow.
for it to finish curing. Because we poured so much goddamn concrete to make the Hoover Dam. Yeah, the center has not completely hardened.
Yeah. It's like me after 3 beers.
Only this is still rigid enough to function.
I was
So-
gonna say, that's more pickled than cured.
So it is about that time. Shall we go around for parting words?
Yeah, sure. You know me, I'm going to say, have fun, because what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? So,
Copy that.
Good words.
Functional.
Kiss my grits.
Copy that. Johnny.
I'll take one from a game. God, a red nugget, a fat egg under a dog. It's a palindrome.
Yep.
I got that, yeah.
That's kind of like one of my favorites is Satan Sees Natasha is also a palindrome. And I just realized I forgot to do something at the start of the show. So tonight I'm not topping and tailing with this, but I will bring it up all the same. We're going to be having a scheduling change going on here at Minions of the Zoo, and it's probably going to take effect next week. It might not, but probably is. So we already know that Prospero stepped down as the scheduled Thursday keeper 2 weeks ago now.
yeah.
She's still a keeper. She's still part of the Minions. She's just not the scheduled Thursday. So from now on, until we find someone to take that spot, Thursdays will be wild card, just like Fridays have been for the past bit. Wednesdays, I am going to be moving off of Wednesday, and the one-ton hammer, one of our first keepers, in fact, our very first keeper, is going to be returning and being the scheduled keeper for our Wednesday shows, and he's going to be doing a special sort of show. There we go. Those are words. With Terry Diamantis and Genti Maxi. Every Wednesday. I am still going to be keeper because I am not going to give up being keeper. And I am moving to Fridays. So I will become the every Friday keeper. It will no longer be Wildcard Fridays. So just to work through that again, it'll be One-Ton Hammer Wednesdays, Wild Card Thursdays, and Sanguine Fridays. And at the end of giving that, I'll leave off with my standard of, if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Have fun.
Good night.
Bye-bye.